But I'm glad that you brought up Sullivan because I honestly wasn't going to even talk about this, but like, I don't know. Like I've defended him, but I'm at the point now where it's like, I still think he's a really good hockey coach, but I am disappointed to see that he is like so many other coaches around the league in that like veteran status means so much because it goes completely against what he did when they won those cups, where you had the youth injection. And I'm not saying they have those same types of players to bring up or anything like that. I'm just specifically talking about the loyalty to the likes of Brian Dumoulin and Jeff Carter, and not just the fact they're in the lineup, but like the assignments that they get on a night to night basis, their deployment. It's just like that to me, literally, the way that he ices Jeff Carter and Brian Dumoulin is going to be the difference in them making the playoffs and missing if they miss the playoffs.
Yeah,
legitimately.
I
just the use of those two players.
I think it's awful. His deployment has been awful this season. I don't think that's an exaggeration by any stretch. I
and
think
it goes beyond those two players, but I'm saying literally,
yeah.
You could say just those two players are going to be the difference between them making the playoffs and not.
Yeah, I'll just say that I don't care. I don't give a flying F, flip, whatever. Well, this is a clean show, everybody. I don't give a anything. How many faceoffs Jeff Carter wins? That is irrelevant to me.
He took 6 last game.
I do not care. I do not care. Listen, if you win the faceoff, could it lead to good things for you? Obviously, you want him to the faceoff. Yeah, sure. But if that is the only value that you have, you're telling me if I have a son and he can't skate that well, he doesn't score goals, he doesn't assist, he doesn't do anything productive towards an NHL team, but he can win every faceoff or majority of faceoffs that he wins, he can go to the NHL. I wouldn't want my son on my team. Okay? I wouldn't want my son on the Penguins if that's all he did. And it's the same thing with Jeff Carter. If that's his value, then, and I get it, like Sullivan has to defend his guys when he's asked questions.
Yeah.
But still, I don't think that's an excuse to continue to go back to those guys in those situations. It's pathetic. And if that's the only value he has, he should not be playing in those situations. I don't care if Sid is going to lose a faceoff. I'd rather have the better player on the ice. For if you lose a faceoff, what are you going to do about it? Do you want Jeff Carter on the ice? No.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, 100% I'm in agreement with the way that he defends them to the media, but like actions speak louder than words. So like if he were doing that, but then not utilizing the same way, like that, I can get on board with that. But the thing is, he's doubling down. Like he legitimately believes this clearly because he's still using those players in that same capacity. So
what
I'm at the point where
Brian Dumoulin was a third liner too, or a third pairing.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to that time? That was a good time.
I'm at the point where it's like I like Mike Sullivan, but if the organization were to decide to clean house, I wouldn't care nearly as much as I thought I would like a month ago.
Yeah, I mean I'm getting that point too. Like I don't think is as big of a deal if he's going to keep the deployment the way it is. I mean, it's honestly, it's reminding me of Derek Shelton with the Pirates. Like, do I like him as a coach? Like, is he? I mean, obviously, like Derek Shelton does not have the same pedigree that Mike Sullivan does, but like the use of some of his players and the deployment that he has with fielding decisions, batting decisions, relievers, it reminds me of how Mike Sullivan has treated some players this season, and I just find it pathetic. And you're just beating a broken drum at that point. It's not going to work. Switch it. I don't. You have 12 games to switch it, to figure it out. If you're not winning games, why do you continue to throw the same guys in the same situations every single time?
I mean, it's the story of every hockey coach, every coach in the NHL. Like, they all have a shelf life for different reasons. It's just, to me, unfortunate that Sullivan's is literally this, just the loyalty to these players that clearly cannot fulfill the roles that he continues to throw them into. And once they've shown you that, excuse me, don't continue to do it, because time and time again, they're getting burned by the same two players. Like, literally, to me, if you go throughout the season, I could probably tell you that, I mean, again, I'm repeating myself, but I think the difference between them making the playoffs and not is literally going to be the way that he used Jeff Carter, the way that he used Brian Dumoulin, and the goaltending that they got for large stretches.
Yeah, I mean, whenever a goal against is scored, those are probably the three that you look up and it's one of them. Yep. Absolutely.
Um,